the balanced diet that's rich in like the right antioxidants and the essential nutrients is absolutely by far one of the most important things. And as women, making sure that you have enough protein in your diet, because you need those protein building blocks in order for the skin cells to be able to build. That's probably the number one thing from a diet that's super rich in antioxidants, and that's the vegetables and everything like that. And I'm really big on as much plant-based as you can and as organic as you can. The second thing that really helps you have that dewy is eliminating some things that we do love. And one on the hit list is sugar, but the sugar actually breaks down the skin. So what it does is it starts what's called glycation, which is a decay of the skin from the sugar. You know, the more sugar you eat, the worse your skin's going to look. The second one is dairy, and not just any dairy, but most of it in the United States is cow dairy. Even some of the almond milks and the coconut milks have a very high sugar content. So you have to be careful even with the nut milks of making sure that you're not getting a high sugar or high preservatives. The problem with the dairy is it's high in hormones, and it's very, very high in other things that are given to the cows and that are not good for people.
Oh, okay.
It's not necessarily that it's dairy.
Right.
It's what the cows
they give the cows.
Exactly.
So
who knew?
Right. So when we're talking about sugars, though, aside from milk, what are sugars other than candy, like candy and ice cream and things like that? What are maybe some sugars that we don't realize that aren't good for us, but we think that are good for us? Maybe like in vegetables, things like that, natural sugars, or are we talking more of?
Well, the natural sugars, if you overload any kind of sugar, like, I mean, if I sat down and ate a whole bunch of dates, which are like really fabulous, and they make coconut date, cacao, like little like truffles.
Yes,
at this big restaurant, and they're so delicious, and you want to sit down and eat like 20 of them. Yeah. But the sugars, the sugar at that point is doing the same thing in your body as anything else. And part of what it's doing is your cells need to be fed. And when you have too much sugar, it kills the cell. When you have not enough sugar, the cell dies. Same thing goes with brain cells. So too much sugar and you're like, oh, I'm so foggy. I feel kind of weird. And if you don't have enough sugar, you're like, oh, I can't think straight.
Right.
And it's the same process. So it's balancing so that your cells have enough nutrition coming in and out. So that's the sugar.
So watch your sugar. Moral of the story.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So nutrition, hydration, that's the first factor.
Right.
And secondly,
or the third, we're on
hydration.
And we talked about hydration. We talked about really having water. We talked about electrolytes. We talked about minerals.
Right.
So that's very, very important to the skin health. But really having enough hydration is key.